All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash, and double honor unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000 men. All right, back with a quick lesson. All of it will be edifying rant. All right, the grinders are ceasing. The grinders are ceasing. And all hell, is about to break loose in this place, right? Babylon the Great, Trinidad, you name it. All right, right now, there's a lot of shit going down here with, neighboring country, Venezuela. All right, with America, Russia, and China coming into the aid. All right, all that, is happening at the same time. Amazon, and a lot of these other big companies are laying off staff. Ridiculous amounts of staff. All right, ridiculous amounts of staff. And Amazon and a few of those others, I believe it's over 150,000 people are about to lose their jobs. All right, and they're gonna be replaced by what? AI. But before I go into that, Lord willing, I'll probably take off driving. All right, let's read this. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 3. It says, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, right? No jobs. All right, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, right? And the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, going into the alarm clock, birds chirping in the morning to wake you up. All right, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low." All of you who enjoy Babylon the Great, who enjoy the wickedness of Trinidad and Tobago, you're gonna be brought low. All right, you're not gonna drink wine with a song. All right, things gonna be hard. All right, the economy is about to crash. All right, but let's pause that. All right, so shit is about to hit the fan in a great way. All right, right now, or even earlier this year, you had a lot of these women, a lot of women losing their jobs. All right, I think over 300,000 just so-called black women alone, losing their jobs. All right, because the government has taken back all these special privileges, and the so-called equality or equal rights, for these women. All right, and now, a lot of these major corporations now are going AI based, AI and robotics. All right, and they're not gonna need you jakes any longer. All right, you jakes gonna become what? Obsolete. It's just as the devil, what's his name? Yuval Harari said. All right, he said you all will become what? Useless eaters. And then Elon Musk talking about universal high income, which is bullshit. All right, that's universal basic income. It's gonna be very basic. When they go into the book of Ezekiel, basically it said, you're not going to be able to satisfy your soul. All right, you're not going to be able to buy what you want. All right, they only be able to buy what they want you to buy, and what they think you should have. All right, so a lot of you Jake going to be hungry. A lot of you Jake going to go thirsty, as the scriptures say. Things ain't going to be nice again like what you thought. Even in Trinidad and Tobago, they say it's a paradise, which ain't nothing but a wicked ass place. All sort of abomination, Pride Day and all kind of shit going on here. All right, so that's all bullshit. All right, it's all wickedness. All right, Carnival, they call it the greatest show on earth. All right, they follow after Babylon in every respect. That's why Trinidad and Tobago is called a mini Babylon. It's all a whole lot of abomination and wickedness wrapped up in one. All right, so you have to understand, very soon the economy wouldn't be able to make it with this recent thing here with Trump, with the Dragon gas deal, the oil deal that that Trinidad and Tobago had on the cards with Russia for a couple of years. All right, under the last government. All right, America basically put sanctions on it now and frustrated the process, so it couldn't come to fruition. Now under this administration, the current prime minister, is basically sucking up to Trump. All right, and she got basically a permit to come out and to get Venezuelan oil, which is all wickedness and bullshit. I could tell you that America, Babylon the Great is Esau Edom. All right, they are the wicked. Okay, because how could you grant oil you know, to another country that you don't own. All right, you don't own that oil. You know, that's up to the people of as I say, the Bolivarian state or country of Venezuela. So it's a lot of wickedness, a lot of evil going on in this place. All right, and Trinidad and Tobago really needs that that Dragon gas deal for its economy to come back online, right? To export people to export gas once more, which America is the major customer, right? The American industry. All right, so hell, you know, shit could very well pop off. What happening now, you know, with Venezuelan supporters, China, Russia, North Korea, you know, coming to aid, you know, providing resources, you know, military might, basically, missiles, etc., for the Venezuela to defend itself. All right, and maybe there could be more action to come in. All right, maybe there could be more action to come in. You know, they even went so far as to declare our the current Prime Minister persona non grata, right? Persona non grata, right? So basically, they're suspending all oil and gas to Trinidad and Tobago, which is going to have a direct effect on the economy, right? The economy is not going to be able to grow, all right? It's going to be a bad state, okay? The jobs going to decrease, all right? All the so-called flourishing of Trinidad and Tobago is going to come to an end, right? People are going to become very, very poor very quickly, all right? A lot of you going to go down, all right? A lot of you going to go down. A lot of the pride that Jake have here going to go down, all right? Spare with me a moment here. Yeah, you know, a lot of you gonna be reduced to a low state. All right, to a low state. So, and potentially here could become a flashpoint. You know, war could break out at any time because of the strategic location of Trinidad and Tobago. You know, all these superpowers they want to fight. They'll fight to get this strategic position. You know, because it basically could control the shipping lanes from here. All right. And also it's very close to Venezuela, where most of the oil is. All right, so best believe, you know, shit's coming. Shit is coming. All right, and hey, without money, without a salary, all right, hell, even without money, you can't buy food and drink. All right. Also, you know, with regards to the food, 80% to 90% of the food in Trinidad and Tobago comes from the US. And if the US is experiencing shit across there, you know, and shortages, etc., then they're not going to have anything to send here. So you can understand the predicament that's going to happen here. It's going to be very hard. It's going to be a very destructive time. You know, as the devil Klaus Schwab said, you know, the former head of the World Economic Forum. You know, they're going to be eventually, it's going to be an angry world. All right, and he said he'll own nothing and be happy. Why? All right, because the wickedness and the legislation that they're going to put in place. All right, so hey, with that in mind, understand the time that you're in. This ain't no joke. This ain't no jokey time. All right, this ain't no jokey time. There's some real shit coming down the pipe. All right, some real shit coming. And we prophesy these things from the elder apostles on down. You know, and now it's coming to light. All right, now a lot of you jakes, you know, who was coughing and mocking, you know, you're quiet now. You're quiet now because why? You're seeing that these things that we've been saying are coming true. All right, and more is going to come to pass. Best believe, understand that. It's a serious time coming with the economy. All right, and generally speaking, especially for you women. All right, so with that, you know, the grind is going to cease, and hell is about to break loose. I pray this lesson was edifying. Till the next time, Shalom, Wa Harag Babal.